Hi, everybody. Welcome to Esho Soul. If you are here, you are family. People who know me and know of me, I'm so glad you came. I'm your host, Yvette Battle Leaphart, and my platform is What I Feel. I'd like to open with an excerpt from one of my original poems. The poem is called Gone. I tiptoe softly, but inside, I am a raging storm. I am a tsunami. I grind my nose against the glass watching you leave, telling me you are not going home tonight. And while I wonder why you would tell me that, I wonder why I listen. But then there were those times you couldn't think for yourself, and I emptied myself to fill you with ideas of how to live. And I ended up empty, with nothing much left to give because I had given it all to you. You even borrowed my own questions and recycled them into answers you thought were yours. You were always saying things that had already been said. It dulled me. Now I am sitting here just a bit wind blown, trying to figure out the twist. What went wrong? I want to tell you not to tell me that you love me because I cannot hear you anymore. I am not listening anymore, but wondering what you are saying as I watch your lips move, but the words I am trying not to hear sound like a loop in a recording. You pulled back and walked away. I let you and didn't want to. I wanted you back with all things wrong between us, and yet I didn't want you. And the maelstrom of confusion just whipped me round and round, but when it stopped, it was too late. You were already gone. So what do I do now? After the storm of loving you, what do I do? I tiptoe softly. I am the falling rain. I hope you enjoyed that. Here at Esho Soul, we're going to try to delve into the soul of all things eclectic and relative, and where we will have great discussions on art, philosophy, cultural artisanship, the self, aromatherapy, food, literature, poetry, music, and discussions of life as we're living it. We'll visit these genres together, and as we build momentum, the focus will shift to you. You'll also have a first look at my product line as it rolls out this year, sometime late summer, no, maybe early summer. We'll see. We have an exciting but short first episode lined up for you about change today, whether it's personal or circumstantial, but embracing it and the possibility of personal transformation. So grab a cup of tea, coffee, or your preferred beverage, put your feet up, and how about we get started? Change. It's resisted by a lot of people who prefer the more comfortable realm of the familiar, but it's also embraced by many who love a challenge and welcome a challenge with open arms, maybe even recognizing the need for it. Ha! There's also those who want someone else to change because they feel there's nothing wrong with them, it's somebody else. A lot of variations. Too many, I'm sorry for this episode. I'll just touch on some of the basics. I agree, as I'm sure many of you do, that any change, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, etc., is inevitable in life. It can be scary and uncomfortable, or it can be welcome. But embracing, welcoming, or accepting it creates opportunities for personal growth and a transformation of our behavior and our perspectives or our actions. Me personally, I do not like change. I need for stuff to stay just like it is and not be skipping around all over the page of my life. I like consistency, and I'm uncomfortable sometimes when things change, especially if they change suddenly. But it's a fact of life on an everyday basis. So since I can't do anything about it, I have to accept it. Sometimes we initiate change, and sometimes it comes for us, whether we want it or not. No one is excluded, but one thing is certain, that you should know a few things about yourself so you can choose options that will fit while you're on your own transformative journey. I think we can adjust to change when we know ourselves well. The decisions that we make based on that will not only affect us, but those around us at home, at work, wherever we are. Taking into that consideration, it's important that we first have to be content that we made the right choice. There's always the unknown, and nobody can predict the future, but being frozen or stagnant is not going to solve what we're facing. We don't always have the luxury of taking our time while we compile a long list of options. But if we're called upon to change ourselves in any way, I think we have to be the ones to choose how we're going to adapt. It begins with our mindset, and what we feel will result in the best outcome. While the opinion of others, and we know those others, auntie, uncle, grandma, everybody, their opinions are always given with the best of intentions, um, but we still need to listen to ourselves first. And I think everybody will agree with that. As responsible grown-ups, though, we shouldn't allow others to make decisions for us, excluding us in the process, which happens quite often. We have all been down that rabbit hole, but they are not us, and we are definitely not them. Now, that doesn't mean excluding well intentioned and informative advice. It just means keeping control of the joystick that we have and mentally tallying the informed data that we've compiled in the filing cabinets of our brains. We have, though, I feel, accumulated, you know, a wealth of information in the time that we've been on this earth, a lot of which we haven't even tapped into yet. And we can draw deeply from our own intellect to make sound decisions, but we have to shut out the white noise and listen to our own spirit. By giving ourselves a moment to remove the chaos in our heads, we can make sound informed decisions. And we need to know exactly what our trajectory is so that we can achieve the best possible outcome. Stability and planning, I think, are two important keys in how we proceed when hit with a sudden change, such as like losing your job or anything in our lives, from the good to the unthinkable. If it's sudden and shocking, our minds have the ability to neutralize our emotions, get past the trauma, and execute rather than emote, if we allow ourselves that time to recover. And we all know everybody handles change differently, but self reflection helps clarify many things that we face on a day to day basis. We're looking for the best results, so we have to choose the best options, and that's pretty obvious. Again, based on sound informed and not hysterical decisions, which some of us can be guilty of, me included. Emotion and hysteria can play a powerful role in your decision making process in whatever changes you are facing. You need a calm spirit, a level head to choose your response. I am not fond of the term embracing change. It's hard to embrace something that may be uncomfortable or life affecting, even if it is something we voluntarily chose. I also like to employ that two-column decision-making thing on paper, where you say, if I do this, what are the benefits? And what are the benefits if I don't do it? Or if I do it this way, what will happen if I do it that way? You know, and what will happen if I do nothing? So I've only skimmed the surface of this topic, and cannot wait to have you with me live so we can stimulate good dialogue on it. But in closing, with anything that changes, we can be open to new possibilities that will appear. We can choose what we want our story to be when confronted with something inconsistent to what we are used to. We can also expand our perspective and build confidence in how we navigate future life events. And it's okay to seek support when we get stuck or feel burdened. We can surround ourselves with a community of people we know, who are in our corner and can and will provide the necessary encouragement to help us through. Um, but if we're at an impasse, it is okay to reach out for professional help. Don't think that it's not. After all, this thing happens to everyone. No one gets left out. Be patient with the process and be confident that you're making the best decision based on your circumstances, not somebody else's. I feel if we're open to positive and constructive suggestions, we will draw those kind of people. In the process, we should not allow our values to be compromised ever. Our integrity is not up for auction, and our input and opinion matters. These are critical in defining ourselves and making decisions that benefit us and by default may benefit others. It's one thing that is a major factor, and that is integrity of who we are. That's what I feel in short. Nothing I've said is new. There's tens of thousands of books on this topic alone, I'm sure, but it's the first time you've heard it from me and how I feel about it. As our viewership grows, we can have many more discussions and welcome live guests, and I cannot wait. The topics we'll share are endless, and I mentioned all of those in the beginning of this podcast. So if you tuned in tonight expecting discussions on politics, religion, war, etc., you might want to change the channel because I feel we are already pretty saturated and inundated with that data 25/7. I want Esho Soul's platform to give us a much needed break, a way to step away in the moment. This is our space. This is our time. I promise more fun and a lot more sharing here with no judgment. You are an integral part of Esho Soul and a key to its success. Please come back. Love me, like me, subscribe to my channel, please, and get others to subscribe. This is a first for me. I never thought I would be doing this, but thanks to my young tech savvy cousin, she saw my vision. I love you all. You were handpicked as my first viewers because you know me and you've all played some part in my journey to here. So I appreciate you. Thanks for joining Esho Soul, and it will get better. Please share, like, love, comment, and subscribe. Press the bell for notifications to stay up to date for all our latest content. Check out the description box below for more information and mark your calendars. I'll be back next Saturday at 7 p.m. For real-time updates, be sure to follow us on Instagram. See you next week at Esho Soul. We will definitely be here for you. Thank you. And everybody be safe. Bye-bye.